other big thing I ran into, which was hilarious to me because like at some point I just didn't care, was the reflection that I was getting off of my glasses. So as I started to level up my lighting, I got a ring light, I got a video light, and I don't know the exact name of it. Again, I'll put the picture somewhere in the video and y'all be hip to it. But I got a ring light, I got a video light, and I started using that, and I was trying to light me and my subject and I up very well. And I started realizing that my eyes just had a big circle on it the entire time. In certain scenarios, that looks dope. In most, it doesn't. Again, learning curve. Things that I didn't know, but hopefully I feel that y'all be able to do something better with it. Finally, my final issue, really, my biggest issue was using a program. Originally, I asked the homie, shout out to the homie, he did his best with the situation to help me edit these videos. At that point, I was about to tour, I was about to leave. The podcast was supposed to come out a lot sooner than it did. And we just ran into scheduling problems. And I realized that that's something that you just have to be able to roll with the punches with. And that's something that we were able to talk about and laugh about. And I think that's dope. But it's also, I learned that it's dope to know everything that's going on behind the scenes. So when something falls through, you're able and you're knowledgeable enough to pick up the pieces and run with it yourself. You're not always going to have help. As much as help is nice, you're not always going to have it. So using the programs to edit. So I had the Final Cut Pro version. It was a cracked version, a demo version. I tried to use that. I was trying to learn it. I was trying to watch all the videos. And I was starting to get really good with it, but I was having a lot of issues. And again, everyone I was trying to call to ask for help, I realized there was a little bit of resistance and hesitance to help me. And again, I don't know if it's because they wanted me to send it so I could pay or whatever the case is. I don't know. No shots fired. It is what it is. So I started to figure out that I'm struggling with this program. Let me just use what's already on the computer. I have a MacBook. I decided to just use iMovie. Within 2 or 3 days of just doing some research, I was able to start editing, cutting. I was able to start editing and cutting the videos up pretty nicely, very smoothly. I was able to throw in the transitions and music. So honestly, again, when you're starting something new, I don't think anything is wrong with using what you have, but and also like not just using what you have, but making the best of a bad situation or a not great situation, because it's not a bad situation, it's a learning experience. So let's talk about solutions. First off, starting with microphones. So with the microphone, I told you we originally started using a lapel mic. I X'd that out so quick. End up going to a boom microphone. I'm gonna put which boom microphone I was using up in the image somewhere here, somewhere on the scene. I'm gonna put which boom mic I am using, but with that boom mic, I've noticed that everything has been so much better. It's the quality of video and sound that you're hearing right now, which hopefully y'all think is pretty nice. It's been able to pick up all the ambience in the room and cut out the ambience while amplifying my voice and that of my guest. And that's even when the guest is speaking kind of low. So it's kind of dope in that essence that it does pick up all of that and still cuts out the ambience and the background noise. What I also did was I was starting to use the volume and the audio from my GoPros. Again, I was able to level up to 2 GoPro Blacks, number 8s, the 8 series. And the audio that those things pick up is insane. So again, a lot of times I ran into issues, again, not remembering to turn on the microphone, and I had to use the audio from the GoPros. So having those definitely have saved my life, and it's definitely something that I'm so happy that I did. Trying to record 3 angles and often only cutting it down to 2. Camera settings. I already told you all about the white balance. YouTube. YouTube is the great equalizer for everything. If you don't know how to do something, YouTube and Google, especially if you're one of those people that aren't comfortable yet asking for help, which again, I will tell you, a closed mouth never gets fed, so take advantage of that. So YouTube was a beautiful thing in helping me to color balance and knowing how to work with my skin and those of the people around me, knowing how to get lighting in room and ambiance. Other thing that I would say is very important is making sure that you're matching the settings on your camera, your phone, and or your GoPros. Whatever devices you are using, make sure you're matching the settings. So if you're going to be recording in HD on one, 30p on the other, white balance this, make sure that they're all the same. It makes the editing process and post-production so much easier. Please take it from me. It saves you so much time. And you can see the difference across all the videos that I did post from episode 1 to episode 8. You can see the difference in framing, which is something else I didn't talk about. Framing is so key, right? Making sure that there's enough space above and below your subject so that if you need to edit something out, you can. Creating something that's too close, too in, too direct, it often leaves you with no room for editing. And ultimately, you either have to go with the final product or scrap it. So, what were some of the positives that came out of the podcast? Number one, network. The podcast has expanded my network. There's nothing much else I could say about that. A lot of these DJs I've never met a day in my life. Some of them actually were the big homies. But it was just dope to hear other people's experiences. And I feel like I'm creating a larger brotherhood, a larger just DJ connection that hopefully I'll be able to pass on to those people that are enjoying the podcast or people that I run into. So network is definitely number one reason and thing that I'm very excited about. Number two, the knowledge that I learned about pre and post-production. So pre-production, how to set up the cameras, lights, things of that nature. And then post-production, how do I edit it? How do I try to make sure and get every clip as clean as possible? How do I make sure that the lighting and the different variances that each different product versus the camera, the GoPro, or whatever else was on the same level as far as what you were visually able to see? Thirdly, I was able to create a platform where you can share knowledge and get knowledge. I told y'all my biggest thing is always the dissemination of knowledge, right? I feel like if all of us have the knowledge, we can all do better and hopefully provide something that each of us can then hold on to and help each other with in the end. Biggest thing, and I think this is the biggest thing across everything that I try to do, is bridging that gap. There's a generational gap between those that are professionals and those that are amateur and those that are novice even. But there's just a gap where it's there's either a lack of respect or...
See, a lot of older cats don't help the younger cats.
Very much so. Talk about them. I don't know what it is really, but it's my biggest thing was bridging that gap. So even if you're not able to talk to a 20-year DJ that's been all around the world, you're able to get that information in a space that everybody's using. Instagram and YouTube, Spotify, and all those other streaming networks. Lastly, I have fun. Despite all the hours that I put into this thing and all the trials, really, I was able to see that not necessarily that I didn't need help, but even without help, I was able to accomplish it. And I think that's something dope to just have on your shoulder and just think about. You don't necessarily always need people. And the fact that you're able to do it sometimes by yourself, it's just that feeling of accomplishment. And like I said, at the end of this, I felt accomplished. Hopefully y'all feel the exact same way and y'all enjoyed all the different clips. If you have not done so yet, please go and revisit everything. It is The Abroad DJ. It's right above me if you can't see it. It's on all media platforms. That's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify. We're everywhere. Check us out. There's definitely something that you're going to learn. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're here, baby. Season 2. It's about to drop real soon. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. I have some dope names set up for that one. And if y'all know any female DJs, any female tour DJs, I'm really looking for that perspective. Tell them to hit me up. We trying to do this. We trying to make this global. We trying to make this worldwide. The Abroad DJ. We here, baby.